Get ready. It's time for the Medicare Funcast. Medicare information for those that need it. Music, memories, interviews, and pop culture for those that don't. And now, here's Brian Koulis.
Well, hello and welcome to the Medicare Funcast with Brian Koulis. Great to have you with me today. Make sure you go back and listen to my other shows. My first show, I interviewed Jim Birkenstadt, and we talked about the time where Ringo Starr of the Beatles was replaced by another drummer. And then part two of that interview, we talked to Jim again, and we talked about Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys and his association with Charles Manson. That's a good interview. So this is the third show now with the Medicare Funcast. And again, we talk about Medicare and Medicare plans and things in the first part of the show. If you're not into that, you're too young for Medicare, could care less about Medicare, or maybe you're just happy with your current plan, skip past the break. And I'm always going to have music, memories, interviews, and fun things after the break. So stick around for that. And the second part of the show today, we talked to Kat Robinson, and many people here in Arkansas know Kat Robinson. She's an Arkansas food historian. We're going to talk about treats, talk about her new book, The Great Arkansas Pie Book. And Kat Robinson knows all the great dairy bars in Arkansas. She travels to all 75 counties. She's been Emmy nominated for her videos, has fantastic videos on restaurants. She travels to the dairy bars and restaurants in all of Arkansas, what I would call a lot of these hole-in-the-wall restaurants that are so much fun. So I talked to Kat Robinson coming up in the second part here, and you do not want to miss it, especially coming up to Thanksgiving. She's going to have pie recipes. And if you're in Arkansas or in another state, really, you're going to want to travel to Arkansas now and check out some of these dairy bars. I keep one of her books in my car at all times when I'm traveling around Arkansas because I love these little restaurants and things. And so I think you're really going to enjoy that interview after the break. And I want to give a shout out to Doc Washburn. I am part of the Doc Washburn Plus network. Doc Washburn, of course, has a great show on DocWashburnShow.com. He's still going strong. And we have Donnie Copeland, who does a fantastic show called the Red Pill Sports Show. Red Pill Sports, sports done right. And right now, we're going to talk about Medicare Part C plans. What's a Part C plan? Well, you see it you see it all over the commercials and in your mailbox. Part C plans are actually Medicare Advantage plans. And I think a lot of you are frustrated with Medicare open enrollment right now. You're frustrated because you're getting phone calls like this gentleman, and it's just crazy right now. And your mailbox may look like this with all the Medicare advertisements. And so what is a C plan? You see that on TV all the time. Okay, Part C. They make it sound like maybe it's a brand new plan, but Part C plans are Medicare Advantage plans, interchangeable. Medicare Advantage plans are Part C plans. If you already have a Medicare Advantage plan, you have a Part C plans. And believe it or not, they go all the way back to 1966, but they really did not become as popular until about 2009. That's when I started selling Medicare plans, and now they're super popular. They're an all-in-one plan. So they are not a supplement. Supplements are a different type of Medicare plan. A Medicare Advantage plan is not a supplement. So Medicare Advantage plan is going to combine your Medicare Part A and Part D. And for the most part, they will combine Part D drug coverage. So according to Medicare, Part A, Part B, and Part D equals C. Okay, that's how Medicare thinks. So that's how it works. And many of the Medicare Advantage plans will have an over-the-counter benefit, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And of course, they'll have Part D plans. Some of them will have a hearing aid benefit, a food benefit, and silver sneakers, and some other plans call it various things, but it's a free health club membership. You can go to your local YMCA or a Planet Fitness or a 10 Fitness and things like that, and they pay for your fitness benefit. And Medicare plans are network based, so they are an HMO or a PPO or different types of networks. An HMO typically is a health maintenance organization, and you do have to go to network doctors. Make sure you stay in network. And then a PPO is a preferred provider organization, and those can be a little bit more flexible, where you can go in and out of network. A lot of them you may pay a little bit more out of network, and that is a PPO. So Part C plans or MA plans, are called Medicare Advantage plans, are offered by private companies approved by Medicare. They have to mimic what Part A and B covers, and typically will offer more than Part A and Part B. And if you join a Medicare Advantage plan, the plan is going to provide all of your Part A hospital coverage and your Part B medical coverage. And Medicare Advantage plans, like I mentioned, they do offer various things that original Medicare Part A and B may not cover, and they do offer Part D coverage. And for most people, you still have to pay that $164.90 Part B premium. That typically comes out of your Social Security check, so you still have to pay that. The nice thing about many Medicare Advantage plans is many do not have a monthly premium. You will have copays and things. A lot of these advertisements make it sound like everything is free, or maybe your neighbor says, "Oh, I never pay anything for a Medicare Advantage plan." Well, you may not have a monthly premium, and typically your primary doctor is no copay, and your preventative care, like your yearly checkups and various shots and things, may not cost you anything. But on Advantage plans, for the most part, you're going to have a copay out of your pocket for specialists, for hospital stays, emergency room, and urgent care, and things like that. But for the most part, it's going to be a predictable copay. You're going to have it down in writing. You're going to have this much for a surgery. I have cataract surgery. I'm going to pay this much. If I go to an urgent care center, I'm going to pay this much. If I go to a specialist, I'm going to pay that much. So easy for me to say, right? So Medicare Advantage plans do have many things that are no charge, but you do have predictable copays at doctors and various other things like that. And the rules change every year. That's why a lot of my customers, they'll call me every year and say, "Hey, Brian, check my drugs, check my doctors, make sure they're in network. What's your opinion, Brian? Should I just stay the course with my plan for next year? Or should I change?" And sometimes drugs change, doctor networks change, and Medicare Advantage plans keep me hopping, especially during annual enrollment. And why do the commercials talk about zip code? The commercials always say, "Well, check your zip code," or that type of thing. Well, for instance, here in Arkansas, in Hot Springs Village, you have half of Hot Springs Village is in Saline County and half is in Garland County. They have the same zip code. They're different counties, though, and some parts of Saline County have different zip codes than Hot Springs Village. So you got to check the zip code, find out what county you're in, because there could be a particular plan that has a little bit different benefits in Saline County versus Garland County. So that's why these commercials always say, "Well, we're going to check your zip code," and that type of thing. So another thing, excuse me, you have to really, I warn you, be careful about advertisements and phone solicitations, okay? Many of my customers right now are getting, oh my goodness, one of my customers the other day had 40 phone calls, and what they're doing, they're mimicking your prefix. So if you have a prefix that says it's a 922 prefix, they are mimicking, and you think it's your neighbor or your friend calling you from your 922 prefix. You answer it, and it's a telemarketer, and they're trying to sell you something. And also what they're doing, this is really, really devious, but my customer was making a log of all the telemarketing calls, and what some of the companies are doing is they're making it look like the phone call is coming from your bank or a local business or a grocery store and that type of thing. So you pick it up, you think it's your bank calling you about something, and it's a telemarketer. So again, a lot of these companies, they're fine, they're legitimate companies, but many of my customers have signed up over the phone or they call a number on TV, and the agent that they talk to doesn't do due diligence and puts them in a plan where maybe some of their doctors are not in network, maybe that agent did not look into their drugs enough, and maybe some of their drugs are not on the plan that they signed up for. So you got to be careful. And again, just kind of a warning to you, just be careful about that. And you also hear about groceries on these commercials. Yes, you can get groceries on some of the Medicare Advantage plans. Again, a Medicare Advantage plan is going to help you cover doctor, hospital, drug coverage, Part D plan, your Part D pharmacy drugs. They do have dental and vision on many of the plans, a hearing aid benefit, and you can get groceries on some of the plans. Typically, we'll give you what your ID card, and on the back of the ID card will be a barcode that you could scan at Walmart and Walgreens and Dollar General, and you could go get groceries. Now, they kind of frown on, getting little Debbies and things like that, unfortunately, but you can get meat and vegetables and other products, and they give you a credit either per month or every couple of months, every quarter, and you can get groceries. I've been selling a lot of those plans this year that have the grocery benefit. And some of them, they talk about Part B give back or buyback. I know Joe Namath and J.J. Walker, Dynamite, and that lady that shouts, what's her name, Martha. They all talk about the give back program. Well, the $164.90 is what you pay for your Part B premium this year. Pay that out of Social Security. That's going to change next year. If you're watching this later on, it's probably going to go up for 2024 and beyond. If you make under a certain income threshold, you can get that Part B paid for. You could go to socialsecurity.gov and apply for extra help. Extra help, if you are to obtain extra help, will lower your drug cost and also may pay partial or fully your $164.90 premium. And if you have Arkansas Medicaid, Texas Medicaid, Oklahoma Medicaid, along with Medicare, and you get full Medicaid, typically, and for the most part, you will get that $164.90 paid for. And there are also some Medicare Advantage plans that will give you a give back benefit. There are some really good veterans plans. I know several companies offer veterans plans that work with your TRICARE or your VA benefit, and the Medicare Advantage plan will pay some of your Part B premium, which is really nice. And there are other plans, if you're not a veteran, other Medicare Advantage plans that give you money back towards your Part B premium. And we all know with the economy now and everything, that's a huge benefit. There are also special needs plans, and I'm selling a lot of those right now. They are specifically for people that have heart disease and diabetes and COPD and various things. So we send a form into your doctor. Doctor says that you have stents, or you've had atrial fibrillation, or you have diabetes, you're taking metformin or something. You can qualify for special needs plans. And typically you can enroll in these plans year-round. And a lot of these plans, again, they're going to have all the benefits of Medicare Advantage. Some of them have a really good food benefit and things like that. And they also have transportation. So if your car breaks down or you want to save some gas, they have free or no charge transportation. Sorry, boy, the pollen is really bad today. I apologize about that. And to summarize Medicare Advantage again, it's an all-in-one plan. It has benefits, it has to mimic what Medicare A and B covers, gives you extra benefits like a fitness benefit, hearing aids, groceries, And it also has to include everything that Medicare covers, like doctor, hospital, emergency room. Many of these plans have no monthly premium. Some have premiums. And again, I'm happy to talk to you. I'm licensed in various states. My company is Arkansas Health, Life, and Medicare Plans. And I'm Brian Koulis at 501-922-7449. And the annual enrollment period is October 15th through December 7th. And there are various times you can enroll other times during the year, like if you are leaving group coverage, that opens up a special enrollment period for you. If you move state to state or even move from county to county, that can open up a special enrollment period for you. Or if you're coming off of 2 years of disability and they give you Medicare, that can open up a special enrollment period for you. And also if you are turning 65. So really, that's kind of just a helicopter view of Medicare Advantage plans. I hope that helps you. You could always find my shows on Facebook and YouTube and the DocWashburnShow.com. It's the Medicare Funcast with Brian Koulis. And right after the break, get ready. We're going to talk about all kinds of treats and all kinds of great places to eat with Kat Robinson. In just a few moments, we'll return with the Medicare Funcast. I want to thank several sponsors of the show. One of them is Red River Auto. They're the big car dealership in the middle of the country. Mitch Ward and crew believe in freedom, and that includes freedom to buy a car, truck, van, or SUV online and have it delivered to your front door anywhere in the continental USA. Call 501-381-7807 or visit them on the web at redriverauto.com. And if you're in Central Arkansas and need auto glass, Mike Seawald at Generations Auto Glass is the man. Mike and his staff will treat you right, and I know that because I've known Mike and his family for almost 20 years. I highly recommend Mike and Generations Auto Glass, and Generations services body shops and individual customers. Call Generations Auto Glass at 501-708-1420. And also, I thank Mike Lindell and My Pillow for being a sponsor of the Medicare Funcast. I had the pleasure of meeting Mike Lindell last Christmas in Oklahoma, and he was very down to earth and super friendly, and he truly believes in his products. We all know about My Pillow, but My Pillow also has bedding, clothing, towels, and mattresses, and you can get big savings with my promo code KOULIS. That's my last name, Koulis, Kulis, Kulis, S as in Sam, and go to mypillow.com. And check this out. Last January, went to My Pillow and ordered my slippers. And my slippers, these are so comfortable. I wore them all the time. I bought some pink ones for my wife, Deanne, and I loved them so much. They were so comfortable. I went to Chewy's one night for dinner, and Deanne looks down and says, "You're wearing your My Pillow slippers to Chewy's." And I said, "Well, they're so comfortable. I just wore them out on the town." So anywhere, they're great. Check it out, and you can get discounts with my promo code KULIS. And also, a lot of people don't know that Mike promotes American-made products, and you can find automotive, appliances, coffee. I love that coffee. It's good stuff. Home goods, outdoor items, pet supplies, tools, and more. And you can go to allamericanmade.com. You can use the same promo code KOULIS. Go to allamericanmade.com, which is part of My Pillow. Use the promo code KOULIS, KULIS.
We now return to the Medicare Funcast with Brian Koulis.
All right, we're back here on the Medicare Funcast, and we have a special guest today. It's Kat Robinson. Hi, Kat.
Hi there. How are you this morning?
Oh, doing great. She is Arkansas's food historian. She's a road warrior, and you're based in Little Rock. You're a travel writer, host of the Emmy-nominated, that's impressive, documentary, Make Room for Pie, A Delicious Slice of the Natural State. You're a committee member for the Arkansas Food Hall of Fame, the author of 101 Things to Eat in Arkansas. I keep that in my car, my vehicle. 101 Things to Eat in Arkansas Before You Die, and 102 Things to Eat in Arkansas Before You Die, right?
That's right.
And the A to Z of eating in the natural state. And we're going to talk a lot about the Great American Pie book. And
Yes, this one
oh,
right
there it
here.
is. Oh, I'm getting hungry already. uh, I mean, I could keep talking about you here. You've published in so many national and regional magazines. You write food and travel subjects throughout the United States. You're best known for things here in Arkansas, but you also do national things. You have 1,200 articles on your website, and that's
Mhm.
tyedyedtravels.com, right?
That's right.
And you're the road warrior. People know you by your hats, and you're or
Yes.
the nickname Road Warrior, Traveling Pie Lady, the girl in the hat, and you've been in all 75 counties in Arkansas.
Yes.
Usually peeking out behind the kitchen or a menu or something like that. And uh, we kind of share a same background. You've been in radio and television here in Arkansas for many years, and the list goes on and on. And so, welcome, Kat. It's an honor to have you on the Medicare Funcast this morning.
It's wonderful to be here.
And again, I'll spare you talking about Medicare. That's in the first part of the show. So the second part of the show, we talk about pop culture, and I do interviews and music and all kinds of fun things. So you're the fun person here. We're going to obviously talk about a lot of food this morning.
Uh-huh. Oh, yes. I mean, Arkansas has so much to offer whenever it comes to cuisine. We are a fantastic state. A lot of folks just assume we offer the same Southern food as everybody else, but we actually have 6 food microregions across the state of Arkansas. The dishes that you get that are traditional to the Arkansas Ozarks is going to be different from the Delta or LA, lower Arkansas.
Sure.
Uh,
Oh,
and
Lower Arkansas.
Lower Arkansas.
Yeah.
We have so much to offer, whether it's fine barbecue or exemplary steaks. Of course, we are tied to chicken in quite a many ways. Or going back to our history of wild game, our indigenous fruits, vegetables, and nuts like gourds and pecans. And I mean, we are one of those rare states where if you cut us off at all of the borders, we would do just fine. We have everything you need
Oh,
to
we
have a
do.
wonderful meal here any season of the year. It's just fantastic.
And let's talk about your new book. You have
Yes.
the Great Arkansas Pie book. Yeah. Oh, and
Yes.
I'm getting hungry already. So tell us about how this book came about.
This is my 12th book, and I've written 2 other books that are based on pie. My very first book was Arkansas Pie, A Delicious Slice of the Natural State, and it was a collection of essays about the people who make pie. It tied directly into and inspired Make Room for Pie, which is the documentary we were talking about earlier, which is available to watch at any time at pbs.org. Just type in
Oh,
Make Room
great.
for Pie,
Mm-hmm.
and you can watch it. Um, when that documentary came out, what most people don't know is right before it, my first book was taken out of print by the first publisher I worked with. So I had to scramble over the course of 10 weeks to create a second one. And that book is Another Slice of Arkansas Pie. It has 475 different places to find pie in the state of Arkansas. It was a massive undertaking. So the one complaint I've heard over the years, people love the books,
Okay,
but
sure.
they're like, well, where are the recipes? There's 13 recipes in the first book. There's 33 in the second, but those books aren't cookbooks. So whenever it came time to sit down and really dive into working on whatever my project was going to be, I decided to take a deep dive, a 6-month dive, looking into everything I could think of about how pie had developed here in Arkansas and the
Yes.
recipes that tie it all together. And that's where I came up with the Great Arkansas Pie Book. I wanted to create an omnibus of the pies that we eat, not just the
Oh,
pies that you find in our restaurants, but the
right.
ones that define our very food culture. I mean, different pies dating back as far as the 17th century and going forward. And I found so many different links to why we are so closely associated with pie. And not just one sort of pie, but all of the pies. Through the book, I concentrated on looking for historical resources, sure, but I also looked through more than 500 different church and community cookbooks that I actually maintain a collection of different books, all created here in the state of Arkansas before the year 2000, to see what I could find and see where the corollaries were. And I reached out to my friends, both the home chefs that I know
Yes.
do remarkable things for the dinner table, and professional chefs from some of our greatest restaurants. And I was so surprised and delighted by how many people wanted to contribute. In total, there's 248 recipes in this book. Some of them
Mm.
were so good and so historical in nature, I didn't even do a conversion. You can see the original card that a recipe was written on.
Oh,
Say,
that's
for instance,
fantastic.
there's
Hmm.
one here just in the crust section that this is my partner's mother's recipe on the original index card. I wanted
Oh,
to take
that's.
and show
Oh, yes.
this is a
Hmm.
part of the history of this, or there's snippets from different books here, scraps of paper that I found recipes on. I wanted to create something that was really going to cover everything that we did, and not just sweet pies, but a whole selection of savory pies, and then pies that are named the craziest names out there, or defy convention, or that make your eyebrows go up and you go, "What?" And I've
What's in
tried
that pie?
every single one of them. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
That's
it
right.
covers everything from how to make a crust with a variety of different ingredients, including doing a gluten-free pie crust, or making one with lard or butter or vegetable shortening or margarine, or making something that is vegan for those people there that don't want to have any sort of animal product in what they make, all
Right.
plant-based. And it became not just a mission, but a whole lot of fun. Once I got past the research, I took about 100 of those recipes and I went to the Writers Colony at Dairy Hollow up near Eureka Springs, which
Okay.
has the only North American suite dedicated particularly to culinary writers. Fantastic and huge kitchen with all of the bells and whistles. So I had everything I needed to work with. Over the course of 2 weeks, starting with the day after Christmas last year, I made 50 different pies for the
Wow.
book. A lot of
Hmm.
trial and error. I went back in February and did 2 more weeks and came up with 45 more that I wanted to include. So whenever you see this book, no, not only did I try the recipes
Yes.
by tasting them, but I tried making them myself, including the one you see on the front cover, which is ambiguous for a reason. I wanted people to see
Okay.
what they could come up with the ugly pie I made myself. This is rustic. I really got into learning more about how I like to make pie crust in the process. In fact, I gained 6 pounds in muscle just from all of the rolling out of dough
I
and stuff that
bet.
I did.
Right.
The first time I've ever gained weight writing a book, I actually went to my doctor and went, "I don't understand. I was practicing moderation. It's crazy." And it's like,
Yes.
"Are you having a hard time fitting in your shirts?" I said, "Only in the sleeves." And she goes, "There's your answer." So this pie that you see right here is an Ozark grape pie, and the
Grape. Okay.
inside of it
Hmm.
is this wonderful deep purple. You can use any or any grape that you want in this pie recipe, but whenever I made mine, I made it with Concord grapes.
Oh,
So as
yeah.
you see right there,
Hmm.
the inside is beautiful.
Mm.
It's even brighter before you put it in the pie crust and cover it up. Just a marvelous pie that originates from the Arkansas Ozarks, and a version of which is still served today at the Altus Grape Festival, which is
Yeah,
held
that's right.
every August in Altus, Arkansas, where these are used as a pie eating contest pie. So crazy and
There you
wonderful.
go. Now, what's the most unusual pie you have in the book? Or that?
Well, there's unusual and then there's unknown. Now, a lot of people would say that the vinegar pie that is in here, and I have two different versions of it, it sounds weird. It is a subsistence era pie. It dates back to at least the Civil War.
Okay.
The reason I have two variations on it is because one comes from that uh, that famous book. The Art of Cooking in Heber Springs, we should all know about. And the other one comes from a book called Vinegar Pie and Chicken Bread, A Woman's Diary of Life in the Rural South. So you've got a 19th century pie and a 20th century pie, and they look a bit different, but they are based on the idea of we want something that has the tang that you would get with a
Mm-hmm.
citrus product, but you don't have any lemons or oranges because you live in a time with no refrigeration.
That's
And
right.
whenever getting a citrus fruit in Arkansas was a lot harder affair, either they
Sure.
weren't in season or the train did not bring some in, or you're just poor and you can't afford one.
That's right.
Vinegar provided this acidic touch that
Mm-hmm.
reminded you of a nice bite of lemon, but it's available in a pie. More recent versions and crazy things. I've got a recipe for a green tomato pie, and up until recently, I had not encountered green tomato pie outside of family gatherings. But one of the top pies at
Mm-hmm.
this year's Root Cafe Pie Off was a green tomato pie. And it was excellent. And it's a sweet pie. On the other hand, in my
Oh,
savory section,
sweet, sweet.
I have the Bradley County pink tomato pie, which
Oh, I
is a
love Bradley
savory
County.
pie.
Tomatoes.
And it's just even better when you top it with bacon.
Oh,
this
bacon
this
is
is my
good with
partner's
everything.
this is
Yes.
my partner's favorite pie right here. You don't
Wow.
have to put the bacon on, but
Mm-hmm.
it only enhances it. It's got all the lovely qualities that you would enjoy in a BLT. No lettuce, mind you. You could put that on the side.
Oh, okay. That's all right.
This is a dinner pie. It's great. And then, of course, there is the recipe for the famous company's coming pie, which was the pie of the Arkansas Sesquicentennial. This pie was created at the Cliff House Inn up just south of Jasper, Arkansas. I've got a variety of. You see, this looks like it's cream, and it is a cream. It's a
Okay.
pineapple cream. It's
Mm-hmm.
put into a crust made of meringue and saltine crackers. Nowhere else can you
Mm.
get this pie on a restaurant menu than whenever the Cliff House Inn restaurant is open, and it's a seasonal restaurant.
Oh, and the Cliff
It
House is it's
is
just a beautiful
it's
view
so
up
good. It's
there.
beautiful. It's fantastic. And this pie
Right.
is so sweet, it'll make your teeth hurt. But man, in moderation, you just take that bite. It
Right.
tastes like a cloud, and you're sitting amongst the clouds looking across the Arkansas Grand Canyon. It's
Oh, the
wonderful.
Jasper area is just beautiful. Yeah,
It
one of my
is
favorites. Yeah.
extraordinary.
And so I'm curious about the basket behind you. What do you have in the basket behind you there?
Oh, people hand me baskets and stuff. I actually used this weekend. It had a picnic in it, and I just haven't taken it in the house yet. I'm constantly traveling. It doesn't matter where I am in the state of Arkansas. I always feel like home. And sometimes, though, I want to go out somewhere where there's not a restaurant. And I've made up mushroom pies recently, which I have a
Oh,
recipe for that's
yummy.
my own particular recipe that is in the book. You can make it with any pie crust that you want to. My version of a mushroom pie, though, is based on a 14th century pie, which this is a bit of the food nerd in me. This is the pie in question. It
Okay.
is
Mm-hmm.
a savory pie with mushrooms, onions. Your cheese is a choice. I used mozzarella and Parmesan this time, just very simple. Garlic, some Worcestershire sauce, and olive oil, and put it in a pie crust. And it makes a delectable pie. It doesn't have meat in it, but it tastes
Sure.
like it does.
Let's see.
And it's a main course. So being able to go out like that and have something to dine on with my family and enjoy the last vestiges of color in the leaves in a beautiful Arkansas autumn was a great opportunity. And I'll be traveling more this week. In fact, I have a big book signing event that I'll be doing this coming Sunday in El Dorado,
Okay.
where I will be at Gourmet to Go offering pie samples and talking about my books
Excellent.
from 1 until 5. And then I will be off to Fort Smith for a bit. I will be back up to North Central Arkansas, where I was here just a couple weeks ago. I've got a couple of appointments that are going to be down in the Texarkana area after that. Staying busy is important to me because it gives me more opportunities to go out and see what's going on in the Arkansas food community and collect more information that I can then disperse through storytelling, articles, and of course books throughout the natural state.
And is everything, your travel itinerary, posted on tyedyedtravels.com, or where do we find that?
Tye Dyed Travels has a little pull down menu item where you can see what appearances I have set up.
Okay.
But usually, whenever I'm traveling in advance, I leave it anonymous. So I have the opportunity to walk into a restaurant without them expecting me, because
That's
the last
right.
thing I want to
Hmm.
do whenever I am checking out a restaurant for a story, or I'm doing a scout session for one of the major magazines or networks that I work with, um,
Yes.
I want to eat the same food that everybody else does. I don't want to have something on my plate that's not on the menu per se. I mean, mind you, I've got friends that I want to try those items. Maybe they want to see, hey, I'm considering putting this on my menu. Would you see if it's worthy? Well, that's one thing. But I want to give the authentic story of Arkansas food, foodways, and restaurants to the readers that
Sure.
that follow me. So I do put the public appearances out there. I will let you know that the I will be at the Arkansas Farm Bureau Convention coming up here
Hmm.
very soon. I'll have a booth on the showcase floor. So if you're looking for Christmas presents, that's a great place for me.
There you go.
And then coming January, I'll be at the Arkansas Grown Conference, which gives me an opportunity not just to peddle my wares, but that's fantastic opportunities to relate person to person with the farmers that produce our food at the one time of year, being in the winter, that they are not up to their ears and making sure crops are going into or coming out of the fields. That gives a great chance to see, hey, what are they seeing? And also sitting down with them and talking about their family connections and the recipes that are most important to their traditions.
Now, Kat, you've become so well known. Is it really difficult for you to sneak into a restaurant, I mean, with your hat and everything? I mean, uh,
Sometimes it is. There's a restaurant that you definitely need to check out in Russellville called Ridgewood Brothers Barbecue. And
okay.
it does not matter if I am disguised or not. I can walk through the door, somebody will see me, and they shout my name out just like Norm on Cheers. It's crazy.
Cat, cat.
Yeah. But there are some places that I am concerned. I don't want to have an unbiased review. So
Yes.
I will go in. I do have disguises, I do have wigs and
Oh, you
different
do?
clothes,
Okay. All
but
right.
I don't share those whenever I'm doing public interviews,
Sure.
because then, it's all blown.
That's right.
But usually, whenever I'm traveling, especially if it's just casual traveling while I'm trying to put my ear to the ground and see what's going on, I wear clothes similar to this because this is what I wear every day. I am. I know the word authentic has been used a lot for a lot of different things, but uh, this is who I am. I am exactly the same person that you're going to see on TV. There's no airs here.
Yes.
Um, I want people to feel comfortable speaking to me, because to me, it's not about me being famous. It's about sharing the stories, recording
Absolutely.
what's going on, and preserving our foodways. The
And
famed Southern food
right.
writer John T. Edge has actually introduced me to other people and says, "This is Kat Robinson. She preaches the gospel of Arkansas food," and it is as close to a job description than anything else in my world. It covers whenever I decide to write a book or an article or produce a documentary like Arkansas Dairy Bars that did here a few years ago. This is me on social media. This is me out in the public. I want to stay approachable, because I don't feel that there is a place for elitism in foodways.
Oh,
And I
absolutely.
mean,
Yes.
we all eat. We all eat.
And let's you're talking about dairy bars. Let's segue to
Yes.
your Arkansas Dairy Bar book.
Yes. I have a copy of
Meet
that with me this morning, too.
There it is. And I tell you what, that's another one that I keep in any of my vehicles, my truck or my little Kia, when I'm out cruising around Arkansas. And if you could tell us a little bit about that, and actually, what is a dairy bar? What's the definition of a dairy bar?
A dairy bar is a restaurant that serves ice cream and something other than ice cream. Because if it just served ice cream, it'd be an ice cream stand.
That's right.
It's a location where you can walk up to a window and you can order without going in. But it's not a
Hmm.
food truck. You have to make that determination, because
Right.
the food truck scene has really exploded, which is fantastic. I love it. And there are actually dairy bar food trucks now, like the Shake Shack, which came out of Marion. They now have a location in Mona, and they have
Hmm.
a Shake Shack food truck. Don't say that too fast.
That's
Uh,
right.
but back in 2000, when the pandemic came through and everything shut down, the restaurants weren't available for me to go into and write about.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I shifted over to writing cookbooks, but I was itching to get back on the scene. And in January of 2021, I went. I was delivering books down in Hot Springs with my partner, and on the way back, I'm like, "Man, I wonder if Mel's Dairy Bar is still open in Malvern because I remember
Mm-hmm.
going there years and years ago, and I love their caramel shakes. I'd love to get one." So we go check it out. And not only is it still in operation, but it was packed to
That's
the point
great.
where I had
That's
to
great.
park across the street.
Yes.
The next morning I woke up and yeah, I go and talk to Grav and I say, "Hey, um, what if I did a book on dairy bars?" He goes, "You absolutely should do this." And so I
Mm-hmm.
immediately got on the road. That very day, I went to the Yellow Jacket down in Sheridan, which is
Oh,
a
I've been
very
there.
classic dairy
Mm-hmm.
bar. Yeah, I
Yes.
love that place. They've got some wonderful fried pies, ice cream, and burgers. So they tick all the boxes. And I set myself on a quest, and I searched and researched and spent a lot of time looking through Google Maps and picking up the phone and calling police departments. I know that sounds crazy, but
Calling the
if
police,
you
really?
calling the
Uh-huh.
police on a non-emergency number and saying, "Hey, where would you eat in your town?"
Oh, there you go.
I'm telling you,
That's
the
brilliant. Yes.
emergency services folks know the best place to get everything.
Right.
So I did this and made up an itinerary, and I drove all over the state. Well, I'm about a month and a half into my research on the book, and I get a call from Arkansas PBS. We had talked before the pandemic about
Mm-hmm.
doing a documentary that was going to be very farm to fork based, and they said, "Hey, let's do it." And I'm like, uh, "Here in a little bit, sure, but right now, right at this minute, I'm working on another book." They asked, "Well, what book is it?" "I'm doing a book on dairy bars." And they're
Hmm.
like, "Hey, that sounds great. Let's do a documentary on it. Can you get it back to us in 10 weeks?" And I didn't even think about it. I said yes, because I had several production companies that had shown an interest in working with me. The problem was, I'm in the middle of a pandemic, and what
Sure.
production
Mm-hmm.
companies are out there, everybody was booked. So I had to face the crazy decision, go back and say, "No, I can't do it," or do it myself. And I'm stubborn. And I have a bit of a background in television
You do. Yeah.
from my 8 years working as a morning show producer for THV in Little Rock and three
Right.
years at KAIT in Jonesboro. I could pull this off, right? So I
Sure.
hired a
Yeah.
cinematographer, and we went
Mm-hmm.
it. We spent 3 weeks shooting, and I spent 6 weeks editing together Arkansas dairy bars. I got my friend Rob McCormick with some guy named Rob out of Russellville to do the theme song and a lot of the music. And um, really, there's about 5 people total that worked on it, but for the majority, I conjured it, I wrote it, I edited it, and then I went right back to writing the book to finish so it could be a premium for the show. And it is the most complete book you're ever going to find on dairy bars. Even though we've lost a few since then, I can honestly
Sure.
say this book has, at the time it was published, every single one of our 98 dairy bars in the state of Arkansas. And it's laid out. It's laid out regionally. So each of the regions, I even learned how to make appropriate maps so you can
There
find
you
each of
go.
these dairy
Yes.
bars. Um, and it lists all of the dairy bars in that particular region. It's set up so that you've got um, the part of the Ozarks, well, the Arkansas River Valley that is on the western edge, the Ozarks, the north central section of the state, which is also the Ozarks, Upper Delta, Lower
Right.
Arkansas, the Washitas, and then Central Arkansas. So you could pretty much go and use this book to visit every dairy bar in the state, with a few exceptions. Places like the Susie Q in Rogers, or the Dairy Dream in Mountainburg are seasonal restaurants, and so they're not open. And it's
Right.
indicated in here. I do always suggest with any of my books, this 101, 102, Another Slice of Arkansas Pie, if you're intending on visiting these locations, it's always good to give them a call before you go, just to make sure they're in operation. Anything can happen, and not just seasonality. You can have one day there's a water main break nearby, or the power is
Sure.
out, or heaven forbid there's a family emergency. And I've had
That's
people
true.
say, "Well, it was
Mm-hmm.
closed." Well, it's like, well, did you call first just to check and make sure?
Right.
But this is the omnibus, and I talk about all sorts of amazing dairy bars all across the state of Arkansas. Of course, as with all of my books, it is in full color. I took all of these pictures and I did my own layout. And to tell people I'm the full package because I'm a bit of a control freak and I want it to look
Oh, you do a
perfect.
great job. Your video and the book are just fantastic.
Thank you.
I send that to out of town friends of mine that are coming to Arkansas. I also recommend that to people that live in Arkansas. So whether if you're in Arkansas or you're traveling through Arkansas, really you got to get that. I mean, you may gain a few pounds while you're out traveling, but hey, that's you could go work out and run it off or
Everything in
whatever.
moderation.
That's right. And
Share that banana split.
that's right. You need the comfort food, especially in these times now. You really need to go out and take a road trip, get some comfort food. And I also love the architecture of these little dairy bars because quite often maybe they were a true drive-in back in the 50s or 60s. They still, when they had car hops, a lot of them are still remnants of that. And you have a lot of times great neon signs and maybe Art Deco architecture or something.
I talk about a lot of that in
Yeah,
the book too, with a
that's
lot of the
right.
historical pictures of
Mm-hmm.
different dairy bars that are, have come and gone, and the different chains that go along here,
Yes.
because um, you can see the architecture even when a restaurant has become something else, or
Right.
in some cases they become family homes, in some cases they become government offices. It's
Right.
crazy, but
Who knows?
you can
Mm-hmm.
go take a look at a building and you see that two-window walk-up, that history that's there. There's such a nostalgia both about dairy bars that are here and those that have passed on, and I am so ever thankful that I had the opportunity and have been able to create a lifestyle where I can get out and I can go and see all these fantastic
What a
places.
fun job, Kat. That's just a blast. I think the closest dairy bar to us where I live would be the Salem Dairy Bar, and then we're
Yes.
fairly close to Hot Springs with Bailey's and King Cone and places like that.
Oh yeah, and you've got you also have the Frosty Treat in Hot Springs, and then the
Yes.
famous Dairyette over in Mount Ida. I mean,
Oh,
every
yes.
direction you go in the state of Arkansas, you are within a 50-mile radius of a good dairy bar. I mean, mind you, there's not a dairy bar in every county, but there is definitely a host of dairy bars in every region, and they managed to hang on. While other restaurants had a hard time during the pandemic,
That's
these
right.
restaurants flourished because you couldn't sit down in a dining room, but you could definitely walk up to a window. You had that separation. And it sparked this nostalgia. People wanted to get that old time feel. Dairy bars really, they started to become a thing in the 1920s and 30s, and they continued to grow. The height of their popularity really would be the 50s through the 80s, but you
Okay.
don't
Hmm.
see a huge drop off once the ones that survived made it past the year 2000. Um, you have places that have developed so that they're larger than that. I mean, if you go look at the Bulldog restaurant up in Bald Knob, world famous for their strawberry
Yes.
shortcake, um,
Hmm.
you've got something that started off as just a traditional dairy bar with the windows. They now have a drive-through and they have a huge dining room because they are the heart of their community. This is the place that sports teams come and they celebrate after a win. This is a place where travelers who are taking 67 up to all the points in Northeast
Right.
Arkansas have to make a stop, whether they're going to Jonesboro, they're trying to go to Batesville. You have to drop in there. And so they've not only expanded, they've thrived through all these times. So yeah, dairy bars just it's a unique part of Americana. Yes, you do find them in other states, but here we really have done a lot to see them grow and to support them well. I love that.
And I love just going into some of the places, and you meet such nice people. Arkansans are such nice and sweet people, and they take you in. You come in, and they don't know me from Adam, and I'll go to a place like Mount Ida or something, and you sit down, and
Yes,
you're making friends within a couple
you
minutes,
are.
and you have the locals that maybe go there every day for lunch, and everybody knows their name, and it's great. And especially, I tell my out of town friends coming into Arkansas. There's a lot of people moving here. Arkansas has finally been discovered by the country now. A lot of people moving here, so definitely. I mean, your books, they need to be in your vehicle, in your car. keep them with you as like your travel Bible. It's great. And
It is part of the goal. I believe firmly in the idea that all boats rise with the tide. I have some history working with Arkansas tourism, and the focus really had been for many years, let's get people to our attractions because they'll put heads in beds, they'll stay overnight. Well, for every hotel night, you've got 2 to 3 meals that somebody is going to take during the day. If you
sure,
can get people interested, conversely, in coming into Arkansas restaurants to try a crazy dish or to have a fantastic dining experience, and you've pulled that person from outside, chances are they're going to end up with their head in the bed. It all pumps more money into the local economy. Everything from going to a local attraction in between these things to the gas station where they manage to fill their tank while they're in the state. Every bit of it is part of a tourism economy. Restaurants and tourism go hand in hand in that
they
manner.
sure do, Kat.
But at the same time, they're also the heart of a community. It's like with the dairy bars. So many of them are named after the local high school mascot. And the
That's
reason
true.
why is
Hmm.
it is historical for generations. After you get out of school, whenever you're a teenager, you get your first set of wheels. Where do you go cruise to? The local dairy bar.
That's right. Absolutely. Like American Graffiti, right? Yeah, back.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
I think maybe that needs to be standard viewing in our school classrooms. Like, understand why we are making those connections. The money in your pocket, if it stays in your community, will
Yes.
just continue to generate. So if you can get a couple dollars after all that local tourist that comes in to see what you got to offer, that just means more that's going to circulate in your local community, and it's going to help keep businesses going. It's going to keep families afloat. It's going to keep food on the table.
And Kat, that's how I kind of grew up. I grew up in Phoenix and Dallas,
Uh-huh.
and we've lived here about 20 years. But my dad was a salesman, and he traveled all over Arizona and Texas, and we always went to the local, what he called them, the hole in the wall places, where
Yes.
you would pull up to a place. There might have been dogs sitting there, and you'd have to step over the dogs to go into the screen door to get into the restaurant, and it was half falling down. But those places had the best food, and they had character. They weren't a franchise. So I think, like you're talking about nostalgia, I think people are looking for nostalgia, a unique place that looks unique,
Uh,
unique characters and local people hanging out in the dairy bar or the restaurant. And those places are just so much fun.
you find some fantastic places like that across the state, like the To Go place in Warren, Arkansas, which um, county seat of Bradley County. You have to go to Molly's Diner. Yeah, the floors are
Molly's.
uneven. It's in an old general store looking building. Every inch of the walls is covered. If it's not a sign for what kind of pie that they have, it's some old folksy saying. It's a historical picture.
I
When
love
you
it.
walk in, you feel like you have just traveled back in time, and the menu reflects that. They have meat and threes that changed by the day. There's a list of what side dishes are available, and man, their caramel apple pie is extraordinary.
Oh,
Or you can walk in the door at Oinkies up in Paragould on the north side,
I
and
love
it
that name.
it
Yeah.
it feels like an old style barbecue restaurant. And then you go
Hmm.
in, and while the dining room is tiny, it once again these wood clad walls that have started to stain over time from the wood smoke, and the fantastic different barbecue dishes that you can get with pork. You can get some fried wings, but the people that are sitting at the tables, they have T-shirts from the local high school, or they're wearing John
Yes.
Deere baseball caps. They
Right.
look like people that you would see in the community anywhere. And here's this place. You just step into it's right out of time. Oinkies looks like the same kind of shop that I would have into with my folks back in the 1970s, except
Right.
for they've now replaced the menu board behind the counter with an electronic monitor. So it's a little incongruous, but it's
Updated
it's
a
like,
little bit.
wow, it has updated quite a bit, and it's phenomenal that we managed to keep these places going. But it's important to have that sense of place, like going into Hog Pen Barbecue south of Osceola. from the road, it does not look like much. You can tell that this was one building that another building was added to, and then there's
That's
a
right.
section that's leaned into. You go in, the chairs don't match. There's calendars on the wall from ages past alongside family pictures. But you
Yes.
sit down, you order
Hmm.
their half a smoked chicken. It is the juiciest smoked chicken I've
Oh,
ever had in my life. And you strike up a conversation. You find out you know someone at the next table, and somebody over here knows your uncle or knows your second cousin. I
right.
love Arkansas because this
Yes.
happens to me again and again. It's just like being home, no matter where
And
you go.
and they're genuine people too. They're just
They
great
really
people.
are.
Oh, what's the place in is Duval's Bluff, the Craig's? Is that what
Oh,
barbecue?
Craig's brother.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, Craig's brother Barbecue Cafe was started up right after the Civil War. Um, the Craigs worked on river boats, and that sounds crazy. They worked on barges and boats during the war, and afterwards they came back, and the brothers founded this barbecue joint, and it has stood the test of time. And you still walk into it. I It has two entrances because there was a point in time whenever white folks and colored folks, and please, I am not trying to
Yeah.
be racist. It's literally what
No,
the signs would
that's
say.
how it
You had
was. Yeah.
separate
Hmm.
entrances, and once we got past that era, they just took down the divider in the middle. There's
Interesting.
not much that has changed, and their barbecue sauce has this flavor to it. I swear it's cinnamon or nutmeg or something that nobody else has. But the crazy bit about Craig's is that on a clear day, you can smell it from the interstate and it's 2 miles away. I
That's
can
right.
smell
Hmm.
a good day, a good clear day where there's a light wind. I can smell Craig's barbecue when I'm coming in from Hazen. I know whenever they're smoking
That's
because
amazing.
it's tempting and it just draws you right in. Now, Miss Mary, who owned the pie shop across the street that was in her garage, she has passed, but the family has gone ahead and they work in cooperation and do make pies you can pick up at Craig Brothers. Or on days it's open, you can go around the corner, go down US 70, take a right on 33, and on the left, you'll find Miss Lena's pies, which
Oh, that's
Viv
interesting.
Barnhill still
Yes.
runs. And
Hmm.
man, they're so good. You've got to have that coconut meringue pie. It is fantastic. As you can tell, if it's pie in Arkansas, I have my
Oh,
thumb in
yes.
it.
And that's what I'm sure you're the same way. I love going down the old highways because 70 is, the old highway, or before the Interstate 40 was built, everybody went down 70, and I just love
Yes.
going there because you'll see the old gas stations and the old restaurants and the great little towns out there like Carlisle and different places like that.
Oh,
And this is
yes.
where that's where in Arkansas, I guess the road less traveled, you're going to find so many really cool places.
Schedule some extra time when you're heading someplace. I mean, we all are in a rush these days to head here and here and here. And that's what the interstates have done. I mean, to think whenever I went to college, the speed limit was 55 on those interstates, and now it's
Right.
75. And you
Mm-hmm.
just take off and you go. And while there is value in getting somewhere quick, you want to go see family, you've got business to take care of. When you have that extra time, get out on the side roads. Every one of our interstates has a corollary U.S. highway that runs alongside it. So if you're going to Fort Smith, you can take Highway 64 that's right by the interstate, or go and
Yes.
get on the other side of the river and go and take Highway 22, or go down a bit further and take Highway 10 out of West Little Rock, and you're eventually going to end up in Greenwood, which is going to connect you to US 71, and you can go right up into Fort Smith.
Oh,
And
Highway
these
10 is
places,
gorgeous. What a
oh
gorgeous
my
drive.
goodness. And the
Hmm.
largest chicken fried steak I have found in the entire state of Arkansas is on there. If you go to this place called Magazine, it is the
Okay.
community that is just south of Mount Magazine.
Yes,
There's a
right.
place called Mel's Highway 10 Cafe. And I tell you what, there's this. I ordered the country fried steak, had no idea how big it was. And it's, they say things are big as your head. No, it's about, I'm not
That's
kidding. It is
crazy.
this big.
Yes.
And share it with a friend because I had to take that home. That was 4 meals. It was just like,
4 meals.
goodness
Wow.
gracious. And even where there's not interstates, there's ways to get to great food communities and just dine your way all the way across. And, when you're talking about Mount Ida, and automatically the Darriette comes to mind. The Mount Ida Cafe is a fantastic breakfast spot, but to get there, you go past some of the amazing places, including at Royal, the state's largest cinnamon rolls. Those are as big as my head, which are great, but they also have a smokehouse, and they're using smoke primarily to season their meats. So you can go in there and you can get some pastrami or some bacon or some ham
Is
or
that
turkey.
Burl's?
Burl's, yeah, Burl's
Burl's,
Country
yes.
Smokehouse at Royal. It's wonderful. And then you go to a little bit further down the road and you go stop at the Shangri-La Cafe for pie. However, they had their last day of business here just recently because they're also seasonal, but now they're opening in February instead of April. So you don't have to wait as long. In the meantime, you could go and have a magnificent high-class dinner at the Mountain Harbor Inn restaurant, or, dilly on your way down there to Mount Ida and then go on across to Mena. And Mena's got a whole new bursting food scene that's coming online there and has Myers Cruisers, another famous dairy bar. Then you go up to Queen Wilhelmina State Park. Their restaurant has come a long way, and I have enjoyed every meal I've taken there since the renovation, with some of the most breathtaking views you're ever going to experience.
Yeah, they've done a great job renovating that area up there. Just incredible, and a beautiful drive from Mena up there. And I love these towns like Mena that are restoring the downtown areas and historic buildings. It's just I love stuff like that.
You could spend an entire day in Mena. When you go and make time to go to the Susie Q ice cream parlor. That's different from the Susie Q dairy bar or Susie Q malt shop. It's in Rogers, but the Susie Q ice cream parlor, oh my gosh, they make the best affogato, which, that sounds a bit food snobbish, but it's espresso, and it is espresso with a scoop of ice cream in it. And I'm telling you, it's amazing. And you can eat it while swinging on a 2-person bench swing in the middle of the restaurant. It's crazy, but I love it. They've got some good Italian there and some good Mexican there. They have the little Washita Theater. If there's a production, it's cozy. It's in a restored downtown theater. And of course, you have to go to the Skyline Cafe, which is one of the state's oldest restaurants. It did get hit by a tornado a few years back, but people brought back, when they found like the fans that were overhead and the pictures that were hanging up in the restaurant, the community brought the pieces back so that they could be restored into the original space as the restoration teams came through. And I tell you what, their corned beef hash that they pull by hand is an experience. Whether you get it for dinner or you get it for breakfast, you got to try it. It's so good.
Well, Kat, before I let you go, please tell everybody where we can find your great videos and books and everything.
You can find Arkansas Dairy Bars, Neat Eats, and Cool Treats, Make Room for Pie, and Home Cooking with Kat and Friends, all at pbs.org. You can also find any of my books. Lots of booksellers around the state. Primarily, you can go to Wordsworth Books up in the Heights in Little Rock, any of the Green Corner Store locations. You can go to Arkansas State Parks here and there. They are available all over the place. If you want signed copies, you can go to tontipress.com. That's TONTIPRESS.com and order through the links there. Any of my books that are still in print, I'm happy to sign them and send them at the same price you're going to pay if you go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Walmart. You will see them in some Walmarts across the state. I'm very fortunate. I've had great support, and people say, how do you manage to get all this in? I'm like, but this is my day job. Whenever I left producing THV this morning in Little Rock back in 2007, I started creating a career from scratch. It's like throwing spaghetti at the wall. I'm very blessed that I can do that. And as always, check out my socials. You can look me up on Facebook at facebook.com/Tye Dyed Travels, or on Instagram, I'm Tye Dye Cat. That's Cat with a K. And if you have questions, mean, I am used to having people tag me in a Facebook post or send me a random message saying, I'm in this city, where should I eat? And usually I can come up with something. That's what
I
all the
bet you
travel's
can.
for.
Now, Kat, where do you get your hats? Where do you buy your hats?
This one in particular is from the Hot Spring Hat Company. It is a Charlie One Horse hat. This hat is well over a year old, and as you see, mind you, I put the poinsettia in myself, but it is a very high quality hat. I've kind of progressed as I've done better. I've managed to work my way up, but my past four hats have come from the Hot Spring Hat Company. They're all still in really good condition. They do. They can teach you how to block your hat. They can block it for you if you need to. You say you got it wet and you left it on a funky surface, or
Right.
you shoved your hat in your luggage and it came out looking weird. They have great customer service, and it's weird. I'm doing a commercial for these. I don't take advertisement for these people. I
That's
just love
fine.
their
That's fine.
hats.
Yes. Well, I sure appreciate you being on the Medicare Funcast today.
Yeah,
It's been really great,
it's
and
so
I hope to
cool.
have you
And
back again, Kat.
you sure will. We'll have plenty to talk about, especially because the next book, number 13, I'm considering doing barbecue. And there's so much
Oh,
more to talk about just there.
Kat. Before I let you go, after the
Yes,
interview, I'm headed out to Morrilton. Any suggestions in Morrilton?
Morrilton. Oh my goodness. Morrilton has so much going on. So you have the Atkinson's Blue Diamond Cafe, which is a dairy bar, but it also has a great dining room.
Okay.
And try one of the sundaes. They're constantly changing the sundaes that they make. There's always something good. They also do great fried pickles. Or if you go up to the next exit up, you can go to the Morrilton Drive-In Restaurant, which their menu is so big. They have it on boards that are above and to the sides and to the bottom of the order window, and there's still always some sort of special. Try the
Sure.
sidewinder fries. They're great. They have a great tall burger. Just down the road, there is Yesterday's, which is a bar and grill that just get the appetizer plate. Their appetizer plate, which it's not very expensive, it is like it's 12 inches across, and it's just packed with all sorts of things. And then there's Punjabi Dhaba, which is an Indian restaurant that went into the former Mom and Pop's waffle station, and
Okay.
some of the best Indian food in the state. I kid you not. Strangely enough, the very humble bread pakora. I've never had it anywhere else. It is. If you like Thanksgiving dressing, and I know that sounds like a really weird correlation,
Right.
you're going to love this Indian dish. And they do a really neat sweetbread and chai. And I mean, Morrilton's got so much. And then you're right, hop, skip, and a jump over from Petty G Mountain, which Mather Lodge has a really cool restaurant that's open for all 3 meals every day. So
Oh, what a
yeah,
beautiful view.
and there's one
Yes.
I've got to check out. The Bucket List Cafe is on the north side of town, and it's on my.
Okay.
I have to visit very soon, so I don't know yet. But every time I've gone by it, the parking lot's been full. That's a great sign.
All right. Thank you so much, Kat.
Thanks for
Thank
watching
you.
the Medicare Funcast with Brian Koulis. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. It's been fun. We'll see you next time.